Hi, welcome to CMMC Automation. On this channel, we share with you tips on how to automate your CMMC compliance efforts using ChatGPT to save your company considerable time and resources. My name is Derek Phillips. I am the president and founder of Aspire Cyber. We specialize in helping small defense contractors prepare for their CMMC assessments. Also, I am a certified CMMC assessor and instructor. Let's get to the content. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to satisfy CMMC Level 1, 17 practices and 59 assessment objectives, which are all taken from this SP 800-171. So if you're a small business with limited resources and you're looking to have a virtual cybersecurity engineer that you don't have to pay any money, ChatGPT is just what you're looking for. The first place you want to start is with the CMMC Level 1 requirements, and you can get that documentation from DoD CIO website, and it has all of the CMMC related documentation. So where you would go here is CMMC Level 1 self-assessment. Remember, for CMMC Level 1, that is for defense contractors or subcontractors that receive and or create federal contract information in the performance of their contract. As a defense contractor or subcontractor that is receiving and or creating federal contract information, also known as FCI, you are required to complete an annual self-assessment for CMMC Level 1. But the good news is you won't have to pay a third-party contractor to come in and perform that assessment for you. So save you a lot of money, and I'm going to show you how ChatGPT can help you navigate this process and satisfy your requirements. All right, once you have downloaded the CMMC self-assessment guide, the current version is version 2.0. You're going to look for the requirements. So they start on page 13. It'll be AC L1 3.1.1, authorized access control. So this is the first domain that you start with for your level 1 self-assessment. And this is where we're going to leverage ChatGPT to help us figure out all this technical jargon. We just need to know, okay, what do we need to implement for our organization to satisfy CMMC Level 1? Let's get started. All right, so if this is your first time using ChatGPT, this is going to be the home screen. And this is the search bar where you enter all of your prompts. So think of prompts as just you having a conversation with the chatbot, and you're providing it prompts to gather the information that you're looking for. If this is your first time using ChatGPT, this is your home screen. And ChatGPT offers two accounts. You have the free account and you have ChatGPT Plus. As you can see, I have the Plus account, which is a $20 per month subscription. And the reason I decided to get the paid subscription is with the free account, a lot of times you're limited on the amount of output that ChatGPT will provide. And also you'll have, during peak hours, you won't have access to ChatGPT. So I just got frustrated with that. So I decided it is worth $20 a month for the subscription. But again, you can use the free subscription and still get a lot of value from it. So all of the features that I show you today is available on the free subscription. Now, whenever you're interacting with ChatGPT, you're going to enter all of your prompts or requests in this box down here. And essentially, you want to provide ChatGPT as much context as possible to give you tailored responses to the questions that you're answering. So for completing the CMMC Level 1 self-assessment, I'm going to direct ChatGPT to act as one of the authors of NIST SP 800-171, advising my small company on how to implement the practices and assessment objectives. As you recall, NIST 800-171 is the special publication that the 17 requirements are taken for CMMC Level 1. So as you see, I put in the prompt down here, act as one of the authors in this SP 800-171. So down here, this is where I put in the prompt, and then I select enter. And then essentially ChatGPT is responding back, letting me know it understands my prompt and essentially is breaking down for me the cybersecurity best practices for CMMC Level 1. However, we're going to need to go a lot deeper than that to satisfy our 17 assessment objectives. Mention the more context and specific information that you provide ChatGPT, the more you feed it, the better results you're going to get. The more tailored the responses are going to be for your specific request. Therefore, I'm going to tell ChatGPT a little bit more about my small company. And for today's activity, we're going to call it ABC Company. So I'm saying ABC is a small company that manufactures microchips for the Department of Defense. We have 30 employees that work at our headquarters located in Dallas, Texas. All employees are issued mobile phones and laptops. ABC Company receives federal contract. ABC Company receives and creates federal contract information. So that's giving ChatGPT more context about ABC Company. So as ChatGPT is providing me recommended solutions and best practices for CMMC Level 1, then it'll have that information for context. So as you can see, it just provides me, ChatGPT is giving me some more information based on the context that I gave it about my company. Okay, so now that ChatGPT has a general understanding of my company, the number of employees that we have, where we're located, and the type of information, federal contract information that we have, and then also the type of equipment that we have in our company. Now I'm going to ask ChatGPT how I can satisfy the CMMC Level 1 practices and assessment objectives. So as you're going through the Level 1 self-assessment guide, the first practice that you're going to come across is for access control. And it's to limit information system access to authorized users, processing, acting on behalf of authorized users or devices, including other system information. So once I put in this prompt and hit enter, ChatGPT should give me some guidance on how to satisfy this practice. So you can see it's giving me all this information on specific steps that I can take as a small business owner to satisfy these requirements. So it's saying user access control, telling me how to implement access control policies and procedures. It's giving me a recommendation for authentication, implement multi-factor authentication, steps on authorization, access logging, and segregation of duties. So one thing I do want to point out is, so the initial prompt that I put in is the actual practice, but for each practice, there are corresponding assessment objectives. And I'm going to show you those in the assessment guide. See, as you can see in the assessment guide, as I mentioned, this is the practice. So there are 17 practices for Level 1, and that is the prompt that I put into ChatGPT. It gave me recommended solutions and cybersecurity best practices to satisfy this practice. However, once you're reviewing those recommendations from ChatGPT, you also want to make sure that all of the corresponding assessment objectives are being met. So we want to ensure that the advice that ChatGPT gave us also covers authorized users are being identified, processes acting on behalf of authorized users are being identified, devices, each corresponding assessment objective you want to go through and say, okay, make sure that the guidance that ChatGPT provided you satisfies not only the practice, but also the assessment objectives. So looking back at the guidance that ChatGPT provided me for that practice, I don't see any guidance on limiting processes acting on behalf of authorized users. So I'm going to probe ChatGPT some more on guidance for that specific assessment objective. So here we go. So basically I'll just copy that assessment objective. So So I'm asking ChatGPT for additional information specific to processes acting on behalf of authorized users. Let's see what ChatGPT gives me. All right. Give me guidance on authentication and authorization, logging, identity management. Now that is some good guidance. However, I want to get a little more specific as far as the solution. All right, so I'm asking ChatGPT, what solution can I use to ensure processes acting on behalf of authorized users are identified? Okay, it mentions LDAP, Microsoft Active Directory, digital certificates, privilege management solutions. Great. So as you can see for this first practice, ChatGPT provided me a lot of guidance on how I can satisfy the practice and corresponding assessment objectives. You have the option to drill down further, just continue asking ChatGPT more and more questions to tailor its responses specific to your environment. I could tell ChatGPT more about my specific environment, our cloud service provider, our internet provider, as much details as you want to provide to ensure that the responses that you receive are tailored to your specific company. But as you can see, ChatGPT can be your virtual cybersecurity engineer, where instead of paying a consultant to help you complete your self-assessment, you can leverage ChatGPT to guide you in the right direction. All right, we got the first practice completed. Now let's go to the next practice. The next practice is limit information system access to the types of transactions and functions that authorized users are permitted to execute. All right, sit back and let ChatGPT do its thing. As you can see, ChatGPT is giving me guidance on authorization policies, role-based access control, and also segregation of duty. Then if that guidance is too high level for you, it's not specific enough, then I can ask ChatGPT to continue as another prompt, and it'll give me more information. As you can see, it says additionally, ABC company can consider the following for access control list, security information and event management solutions. That I can say recommend. So for every output that ChatGPT provides, if you need additional information, you can either say continue, or you can just rephrase the question or specify exactly what you want. So in this example, I'm saying that, okay, provide me some examples of SIM tools that I can use. I think that's pretty good. We can move on to the next practice because I believe that the information that ChatGPT provided satisfies the practice and assessment objectives for that. Verify and control / limit connections to external information systems. Telling me exactly how to do that. So the awesome thing about ChatGPT is a lot of times, especially government regulations and special publications like NIST SP 800-171, there's a lot of technical jargon, a lot that just may be confusing for a layperson, someone who doesn't have that cybersecurity expertise. But you can use ChatGPT to really break it down for you in layman terms so that you understand exactly what the requirements are. That looks good. Tells me about how I can use a firewall, a virtual private network, and again, any recommendation that ChatGPT provides, you can always request additional information, more details, more implementation guidance, and best practices as you see fit. So we're going to go on to the next practice, see what ChatGPT provides us. Also, I want to note that for each conversation, so each of these are conversations that you're having with ChatGPT, it remembers all of the information that you've provided unless you delete the conversation. So the benefit of that is you can continue to ask ChatGPT more information, feed it more details about your company, and each response is going to remember that previously added information. So it's going to tailor the responses more and more based on the information it's providing you and also the information that you're feeding to it. So these are the guidance that ChatGPT has given us for controlling information posted or processed on public accessible information systems. So we're going to implement data classification, access control, encryption, security awareness training. All good guidance. Let's move on to the next practice. So we want to identify system users, processes acting on behalf of users or devices. ChatGPT is telling us exactly how to do that. And remember, when the first prompt we entered is we're telling ChatGPT to act as one of the authors of NIST SP 800-171. So the person that wrote the special publication advise us on how to satisfy the practices and assessment objectives. So that's what ChatGPT is doing. Always tell us to use user authentication, identity access management, network segmentation. All these are examples of how to satisfy this practice. All right, moving right along. Next up, we want to authenticate or verify the identities of those users, processes, or devices as prerequisites to allowing access to organizational information systems. Again, we're going to use multi-factor authentication, digital certificates, access logging, and you'll notice a lot of these requirements, the controls and best practices overlap. Next, we want to sanitize or destroy information system media containing federal contract information before disposal or release or reuse. So we're going to have media sanitation procedures. So in previous videos, I provided examples of how to use ChatGPT to help you create your procedures, policies. And in this example, ChatGPT is saying, okay, we should have a media sanitation procedure. And you could use ChatGPT to help you write that procedure. Do we want to have data erasure software, physical destruction, access management? So these are all examples of how to satisfy that practice and assessment objectives. Okay, next we need guidance on how to limit physical access to organizational information systems, equipment, and the respective operating environment to authorized individuals. So ChatGPT is telling us we should have physical access controls, security cameras, access logs, background checks, security awareness training. Next practice we want to satisfy is escort visitors and monitor visitor activity. So ChatGPT, how can we do that? We can implement a visitor management system, an escort policy, access logs, security cameras, again, or a lot of these controls are going to overlap. Security awareness training. So a lot, especially for level 1, a lot of the controls are just cybersecurity best practices, really fundamental, foundational cybersecurity practices that you want to implement at your company. Next practice we need to satisfy is maintain audit logs of physical access. We can have, addition to having access logs, we have timestamps, tamper evident logs, log retention, log review. Next practice we're looking to satisfy is control and manage physical access devices. All right, access control system, we've had that recommended several times, so we know that having that control could satisfy multiple practices. Device management, device inventory, regular review. The good thing for CMMC Level 1, again, is foundational, just really basic cyber hygiene. It doesn't cost a lot of money to achieve CMMC Level 1. Next practice, we want to satisfy, control, and manage physical access devices. See that access control system again. So some examples, key cards, locks, biometrics. Next, we want to monitor, control, and protect organization communications as the external boundaries and key internal boundaries of the information system. So we want to establish those boundaries for our network. So that's where we can implement a firewall and intrusion detection and prevention system, encryption, network segmentation. All right, next we're going to implement sub-networks for publicly accessible system components that are physically or logically separated from internal networks. Again, firewall, so we would know implementing a firewall would satisfy several CMMC Level 1 practices: virtual private network, security policies. The next practice, identify, report, and correct information and information system flaws in a timely manner. How do we do that, ChatGPT? Vulnerability management, incident response plan. That's something else that ChatGPT can help you create. Security monitoring, patch management. You can ask ChatGPT for recommendations on how to implement a patch management program. ChatGPT recommends security awareness training for a lot of the practices. That is really a core cybersecurity best practice to ensure that you're training your employees properly on how to identify and respond to incidents. Next, we want to provide protection from malicious code at appropriate locations within organizational information systems. That's where we're going to install antivirus. We see firewall again, web filtering, email filtering, security awareness training. You certainly need to have that. Next practice is we want to update malicious code protection mechanisms when new releases are available. And patch management program, automated updates, vendor support, regular testing. Okay, we've made it to the last practice, practice 17. So perform periodic scans of the information system and real-time scans of files for external sources as files are downloaded, opened, and executed. So vulnerability scanning, real-time file scanning, reputation services, again, security awareness training. If you haven't got the hint by now, cybersecurity awareness training is an integral component of your basic cybersecurity hygiene. All right, so we've gone through all of the 17 CMMC Level 1 practices, and you can see ChatGPT is providing you high-level guidance on how to satisfy those practices and assessment objectives. And what you would do if you don't already have the controls in place, you would drill down even further, asking ChatGPT for step-by-step guidance, suggestions, recommendations on solutions, help on writing the policies, plans, and procedures. It really is just unlimited how much assistance ChatGPT can offer you. So again, this is your free cybersecurity engineer. You don't have to pay, and it will work 24/7 for you. No breaks, no holidays. Certainly is a great resource. I'm going to show you a couple bonus prompts that after feeding ChatGPT this information and it providing me this guidance, I'm going to see if I can get just some more tailored responses from ChatGPT. So now that ChatGPT has told me how to satisfy all 17 requirements and 59 assessment objectives, let me See if we can get some bonus information from ChatGPT. Okay, so I'm saying summarize the top 10 solutions and cybersecurity best practices that ABC companies should implement to satisfy NIST SP 800-171. So these are the top 10. So basically summarize everything that ChatGPT has told us up to this point, that's recommended up to this point. Said, okay, we're going to need an access control system, network security, we need an incident response plan, we need malicious code protection, patch management, security awareness training, and then make sure we're regularly reviewing the security measures. So this gives you a good starting point of how to start implementing the practices for CMMC Level 1. I'll go a step further. Give me a concise step-by-step project plan. So now ChatGPT is giving me a step-by-step project plan, and I emphasize for it to be concise. So these are just actionable steps that you can take today to start performing your CMMC Level 1 self-assessment. And as you're identifying gaps, controls that your company does not currently have in place, you can start remediating those gaps. Provide suggestions for security awareness training. So we want to do tailored training. That means depending on the role that employees have. So for example, your developers, they should have tailored training to their role. Interactive, you want training to be interactive, regular, management involvement, online. So it gives you a lot of suggestions on how you can get started with implementing a security awareness training in your company. All right, so there you have it. We went through the 17 practices for CMMC Level 1, leveraging ChatGPT to guide us through the process. And it gave us a lot of good guidance on how to implement those solutions and cybersecurity best practices to achieve CMMC Level 1, complete your self-assessment. Remember, as a defense contractor or subcontractor, receiving and or creating federal contract information, you are required to complete that self-assessment annually and ensure that you have those NIST SP 800-171 practices in place to protect that federal contract information. That is a contractual requirement. But as ChatGPT showed us, it doesn't have to be expensive or time extensive. ChatGPT can guide you through every step of the way, helping you create the policies, procedures, plans, making suggestions on technical solutions to purchase and or install in your environment. Also can give you guidance on how to configure the current solutions that you have in your environment to satisfy those practices. So what are you waiting for? No excuses. You have ChatGPT to guide you through each step of your CMMC Level 1 self-assessment. Thanks for watching CMMC Automation. I hope that you got a lot of value from today's video and you use ChatGPT to automate your CMMC efforts. It's going to save your company a lot of time and money. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me at Aspire Cyber. Also, you can leave your questions in the comments down below. Be sure to subscribe because it helps out this channel immensely. I really appreciate it, and good luck to you on your CMMC journey.